Hello, welcome back to Up the Villa Europa League action again. It feels pretty quick turnaround from the last one. Oh, normally we don't normally have a game and a game, do we? It's normally we have a week off, don't we? It feels like too much Europa League at the minute.
Yeah, I like it personally. Keep the games coming, get the momentum going. A couple of wins under the belt. Hopefully, keep it up.
Yeah, well, you've got your Villa shirt on, so you're back in the Villa and iconic shirt. Have you done that on purpose or not?
Yeah, I've gone for the it's a replica, Champions of Europe. But we're headed back to Rotterdam.
Yeah,
Hopefully, Champions of Europe again. So fitting,
yeah.
I think.
Mate, I think it's fitting my little picture here. That's signed Peter
Yeah,
Whiff as well. So, yeah, very, very fitting. And we'll touch on the meaning of this game from a Villa point of view in a second. But I kind of just want to get your feeling early on about Villa away in the Europa League. It's something that I'm really big on this season, that I want us to go away from home and kind of not lose. I think that's my general gist of it. I want us to be that team that can just rock up now at an away stadium, not lose, and just help get points on the board, especially away from home. Because if you look at Maccabi Tel Aviv, I think this week FIFA have got a meeting whether they're going to get kicked out of all competitions completely. But I feel like we're a little bit of a disadvantage, really, especially if they get out of it and the way the points can get worked around, that we might not be getting, say, 3 points from that game. Anyone wants to know how it works. Basically, pot 1 is what we're in, pot 2 is what Maccabi Tel Aviv are in, and they're going to work it out of the average points from pot 1 teams v pot 2 teams. Now, if pot 1 teams beat all pot 2 teams, then you'll get 3 points. But I'd say it's quite unlikely, how football goes, that we're probably going to end up with a point, which is at a disadvantage for Villa because I think we'd have been able to beat them at home. But anyway, away from home is where I want to see us do really well. I think in the Champions League, we lost badly to Monaco. We lost badly. Who did we lose? Who else did we lose? Was it Bruges? We lost to Bruges, didn't
yeah,
we?
it was mistake.
Stinky performances. But go there, don't lose. Get your main body of points at home. Try and win away from home. Get a couple of draws maybe. And I've got the points, Earl, of the top 8 from last season in the Europa League. So 8th got 14, 7th 15, 6th 15, 5th 16, 4th 17, 3rd 18, 2nd 19, and 1st 19. So if you're saying you win all your home games, 12 points. Away from home, then you'd need 2 wins and you're top. So I think this is the importance for me. And I think just as a club now, sort of 3rd season in Europe, let's go there and be strong. What are your thoughts about Villa away from home in Europe?
Yeah, I mean we're hopefully at the point where we're, at least from a squad perspective, used to it. Used to the atmospheres, used to the travel internationally, and we've had the experience in the Conference League and now the Champions League. Got off to a good start away last season against Young Boys. So yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's just building on that experience. It's something that we're used to now, hopefully.
And it should be something that we're really relishing as a club now. And you could kind of tell last week, couldn't you, that the Europa was a nice distraction. It felt resetting, and it felt a little bit more freedom to just play in Europe. And I felt like the players did enjoy it. But again, this is another challenge for us to try and keep momentum going now. We're in a, dare I say, we've got a bit of momentum. I don't know. We haven't lost for a good few games now. Yes, there's been draws, and we don't count the loss on penalties because we drew the game. And, the win against Fulham, win this, beat Burnley, we're kind of going in the right direction. But we've kind of alluded to the stadium, their keep, going back to Rotterdam, where Villa have had their biggest moment in the club's history. You know, this stadium is where Aston Villa won the European Cup. So again, it'd be very fitting for Villa to rock up there and stink the place out. But you know, let's go there and maintain our positive and just that sort of feel good history vibe going in there. And yeah, I think it'll be quite a fitting moment for the travelling Villa fans to, you know, even imagine being a fan going to that game and you didn't watch the game in that stadium. You'll be thinking, God, Peter Whiff in that goal, he stuck it away. So yeah, I mean, that's stadium's massive for Villa, isn't it? How we were able to achieve great success there.
Yeah, I mean, football's always, it's all about storylines, isn't it? And we've been given a good one again for this game. So, you know, we had the Bayern Munich storyline last season, which was nice, and we got this season. So, yeah, it's good watching, isn't it?
Okay, I got a question for you. I feel like, as you've just said, like stories and football is made up of it, isn't it? You know, even look at some of the weird things that happen in football. Like Nuno's first game is against Everton and West Ham. The West Ham previous manager is David Moyes. Like they're coming together at the perfect time. And it just feels like football has those strange moments. So my question to you then, Villa 1-0. Who's shinning it? Whose shin strike is going to win it for Villa?
You've got to say McGinn, haven't you? For a third game in a row, he's on a bit of a roll. Yeah. So my money would be on McGinn, probably.
Yeah, McGinn shins it, and yeah, that would be a good one then. So let's talk about the Villa lineup then. I expect there to be some changes from a Villa point of view. Feyenoord playing a 4-3-3, so that formation, I feel like we're pretty good at playing that formation. And how do you feel about the Villa Dutch boys going there? Do you feel like all three are going to be on the pitch, or what you're feeling?
I think at least two of the three. I think probably I expect to see Maatsen come back in for this game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with Dean playing the last one. I think Marlon will probably get a run out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the question marks Bogard with, you know, Kamara coming back, and you know, Bogard plays the vast majority of the Fulham game, didn't he? So I'd guess probably Kamara comes back in.
Yeah, I would agree. Maatsen, Marlon. I was watching them warm up on Sunday, Earl, and I just felt like they weren't doing anything bad. Like they weren't like sulking and moping around. But do you imagine they just have convos together and just going, mate, like, I just wish I was playing in the Premier League, or, you know, what do you think they're like? Do you think they're happy at Villa?
Well, I've got to you got to tip your hat to them because they've been, you know, professional this far. But yeah, I mean, you would be a bit unhappy, wouldn't you? As you know, as unhappy as you can be as a professional footballer, you want to be playing as, you know, as nice as the lifestyle is. You're here to play football, aren't you? So I'm sure they'll be disappointed. But yeah, I mean, another chance hopefully in this match to show what they can do.
I think with Marlon, it's I actually liked his performance against Bologna. I thought his hold up was very, very good, which was a welcomed boost. I think he had that one chance in the box where I just wished he would have just hit it first time, like snapshot it, and just because he kind of dwelled and he got his shot away. But I just and that's confidence, isn't it? You know, a confident player will just hit it first time, and so I do think he had a really good performance, and I think he'd have come off thinking, you know, like I didn't, but actually felt like he did enough. Like he was just kind of missing the goal or missing the assist. So I feel good about him in the Europa League, and I think all he's got to do is just keep working hard, keep his head down, keep doing it. And you know, anything can happen in football. He could easily get an opportunity to play games in the Premier League as well. So I think he starts up top. I think Watkins comes out. I think Watkins gets a break. I think, Watkins got his goal at the weekend. Let's keep him fresh for the weekend, because even though the game against Fulham, second half, I think as he edged on a bit, you could kind of just see a couple of legs were a little bit heavy. And I think we need to just maintain and be fresh. So I think I would go with Marlon. I would leave Watkins out, and I would just keep Watkins ready for the weekend as well. So I think we have got options all around. Bezo Martinez, what do we do there?
That's a good question, isn't it? Probably Martinez is. He's. I think he's got the edge, so I'd start him if he's fit.
I do think he has got the edge, but I don't know whether he's kind of saying to Bezo, like, you're going to get Europa games, because he obviously Martinez had that muscle injury for Bologna. So we don't really know what was going to go on there anyway. Maybe like the captaincy's been, the vice captaincy's been took off him. It's gone to Konsa. Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if Bezo is in goal, but I probably would go with Martinez, if I'm being honest.
I think
what I'd go with.
I think if Martinez was fit, I think he would have played the last game against Bologna. But for me, in that game, Bezo was my man of the match. So I can't fault him.
I think this one's obvious as well, that Mings had the injury. So I think Pau is in there anyway. Konsa, he's Konsa. So Konsa's in there. I don't think we're at a stage where Garcia's back going to be starting games just yet. So Cash, I think, is in there for me. Do you think Kamara, because he was on the bench against Fulham, is in the side against Feyenoord?
I think so, yeah. I think he looks fit enough. And away from home, tough away game in Europe. I'd want Kamara in. Simple as that.
Yeah, and I think in hindsight, you look at the team and you go, "Oh no, Kamara," but then you're like, just protect him a bit, because he does get injured regularly, and let's try and manage his minutes, manage that load. It would be a welcome boost to get that midfield fully fit. Not Kamara, but Onana, Tielemans in there, all the options. We can, McGinn can get a break maybe at some point, because, he has took on a lot, I think, recently with his level of performances. Do you think it is McGinn that partners Kamara?
I think so, yeah.
Same.
Not sure if he'll play the whole 90, but I think he has to play it, doesn't he? With the injuries that we've got in the team, captain as well. I think he's got to start, and he's been doing very well in that midfield position. Like you say, I've got him on to score for this game as well, with a little shin finish.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'd have to go with McGinn. He's on form, and keep the momentum.
I think MVP on the right, Guesson. I think he's getting into a territory of like most valuable player for the system. I think on this right hand side for me, I think he's. I really like him. I think. I don't know. People that watch me kind of know. I love endeavour. I love someone that tries their hardest, and I can just tell that Guesson, some things it doesn't come off maybe, but I know he's trying. And what I love, there's that one move where he held it up and turned and rolled someone, and he was away on and I was like, that is what we need to see. Defensively, I'll reiterate, I think Cash has looked very good this season, and I think it's down to Guesson as well, who is helping out defensively, and there's so much more to come. And I think Emery is just moulding and sculpting, and I think once he gets a goal, I do think he has got an eye for goal. So I'd just like to see him shoot a bit more and sometimes just have that little bit more conviction and just get a bit more cleaner contact on it. But I'm seeing good things. But I'd really like to hear your thoughts on Guesson, because we haven't really had you on, I think it's probably been a few weeks maybe. So what are your thoughts on him? What are you seeing that's good and maybe what's not so good?
Yeah, I really like him as well. I think you can tell he does seem new. Seems like you can tell he's new to the league, new to the team, maybe a bit new to the position as well. It just does seem a bit new to him, but I think the signs are good. I think it was towards the start of that game. I think we're probably thinking of the same moment in the Fulham game. I think he rolled about two players on the right and broke away. And I think the thing with Guesson is he did something brilliant, rolling away from those two players, probably maybe took an extra touch when he should have just, played it straight away through into Watkins. I think it was making a running behind. He, played the pass a second too late and Watkins was offside. So it's just tightening up those things, maybe getting the connection with his teammates, knowing the runs they're going to make, these sorts of things. But I think when it does click, like you say, he's got all the attributes. I think he works hard, he runs, defends, which I think is massive for Emery. In the way that kind of no one's really been able to nail down that right hand side position. And why he always, he's been going back to McGinn there and these sorts of things is I think because of that defensive aspect. I think that's really big for Emery on that side and helping out Cash, like you say. So yeah, I think it's good signs with Guesson, and he doesn't seem to be tired or fatigued or anything. So I think he's fine to go again for this one.
I think something I've liked about him is that when he does lose the ball or when he does kind of maybe not release it or it doesn't phase him, he's not, he just, right, what's the next thing? What's next action? And I think that's good. That's good because, you can look at him and go, okay, you didn't hold it up, you lost the ball and head would drop and he's thinking about it for the next couple of actions that he does, but it just feels like, right, what's next? And he moves on. And I think that's a good trait to have. Now, next two positions, we've got quite a few options of what we could do. It's going to be interesting. He's not resting Rodgers, is he? Right? So Rodgers is playing for me because whenever I feel like, okay, he's going to take a time out of the team, no, he's in there and he's playing. Do you feel like Rodgers plays this game?
I think so. Yeah. He doesn't seem to drop Rodgers, does he? So I would bet he starts.
Yeah, and he was better against Fulham,
Yeah.
so that's a positive as well. And then the final position, I feel like Elliott's next game is going to be quite good. I think it'll be a big performance from him because and Emery's done this and he's not afraid to do this, Emery, and you have to admire it at times that sometimes when you think the obvious is happening and you look at Elliott and you go, actually, he played quite well. And Emery's like, nah, off at half time, mate. like Emery's seen something that we do not see. Emery wants something that we sometimes can't see. So I imagine that there'll be sort of like a team meeting and Emery will reiterate what he probably wants from Elliott. He'll show him the images. He'll show him the data. He'll show him video analysis of areas that he wants him to probably be in. Do you think Elliott is off Marlon, by the way, or do you think it'll be Wendy?
Yeah, I think it would be Elliott. Get some more minutes in the system, and like I said, I thought he played fairly well. I think Marnie said it on the fan cams after the Fulham game, so shout out Marnie. But I think he said Buendia does very well when he comes off the bench, against a bit more of a tired defense and absolutely just harassing them with his running and that sort of thing. So I kind of like that idea, that what Marnie was saying. So I'd give Elliott some more minutes. similar to Gresson, learn the system, this sort of thing, get minutes under your belt, and then potentially throw Buendia in there to cause a bit of mayhem.
Yeah, I know. I've been quite critical of Buendia. I'm not going to lie. I have, and so I want them. I want players to prove you wrong and prove something different. So, I think that the challenge now for Buendia is to build on that performance and keep doing the same thing, because I'm not even looking at Buendia's goal. I'm not saying that that's the best thing he did. The best thing I think he did is off the ball. I thought he's pressing. I thought he was energetic, lively, getting around the pitch really, really well. I thought that element to him was something that really impressed me. And I think you saw for the goal that when Bogard stepped in, Buendia was there as well. And the work rate for the team was really, really top. So I want to see more of that from him as well then. So how do you feel like this game will go as a whole then? I don't watch Feyenoord, I don't watch Dutch football, so thankfully we've got a Dutch football expert coming on to talk to us about Feyenoord. But I've looked through their team and I don't really recognise anyone. That's probably going to be at the detriment, because you know what happens. You look at a striker and you go, never heard of him, and then he turns into like Prime Al Karbi. But what are you expecting from it?
Yeah, I had a quick look. I'm not a Feyenoord expert, I guess, like yourself, but yeah, I mean, being one of the better teams in the Eredivisie, they'll be used to having a lot of the ball, a lot of possession. So you'd imagine they come in with that kind of possession style of play, Dutch football. I saw in the game against Braga they had about 55% possession away from home. Didn't really create much. I think they only had 5 shots in that game, and 4 of those were in the first half. So a bit of a struggle to create there. I think it's Robin van Persie, isn't it? So he's got quite an attacking style by the looks of it. High fullbacks. Maybe it's because he was a striker in the past. It seems very, very all out attack. Looking
Glad he's not playing.
Yeah, I know. Gosh. Yeah,
that goal at Old Trafford.
Yeah, what a finish that was. You just what can you do?
Yeah.
But yeah, the fullbacks are high. A lot of touches in the attacking third, attacking penalty area from the fullbacks even. So you think from an attacking perspective, you got to watch out for them. But then there's a lot of space in behind them as well. And I think they'll probably be bit of a pressing side as well. Looking at them fullbacks as well, they seem to have a lot of tackles in the mid and attacking third as well. So yeah, a bit of pressure. And I think they've got Timber's brother, from Arsenal. I think he's a bit of a different player to Arsenal's Timber. Seems to be their creator, leading the team in the progressive passes into the penalty area, shot creating actions as well. So he seems to be their man in midfield.
I think when I was talking at the start and I was talking about away from home not losing, basically I was listening to TalkSport for my sins today, and they were talking about the Champions League, and I've kind of merged it into the Europa League, but they were talking about like the jeopardy of losing games in this group phase, and sort of you can lose and don't really matter because you've got another 6 games to go and you can change it around. But I think my underlying thoughts were sort of, I want us to be very strong, because I want us to be like strong all the way through this competition. I don't really want to have any sort of down or bad moments. I want us to just breeze through the groups, breeze through the knockouts, and just breeze into the final and win it, really. But I think we're sort of with that jeopardy. Do you think there could become a point with Emery where he does start to heavily rotate in this tournament and maybe play a couple of youngsters, or do you think he's going to be pretty much, this team's pretty strong that's on the screen, but do you think he'll be sort of focused all the way through it?
Yeah, well, I think he'll want to go far in this, and he'll want to win it, I think. So we have got depth, like you say, to rotate some. I think we've brought in the players to do that, but you have to as well. You got to earn the right, really, to be able to do that. Similar to how we did in the Conference League and the Champions League, I guess we earned the right to to be able to rotate and by winning games and performing and getting points at the start. So I would go in and just with the intent of winning every game. Simple as that.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think we've just got to attack the competition and win it, get in the Champions League, and then absolutely perfect. Right, so thanks, mate, for coming on. Really good to get your insight on Villa and especially on Guesson, to get your thoughts on Guesson as well. So just touch on, before we go then, Bogard, because I know you're a big Bogard fan. Just touch on how you feel like he's doing at the minute.
I think you mentioned it in the debrief. He's just a steady player, isn't he? Not every player on the pitch has to be, goals, assists, exciting, skills. He's just, completely steady player. I'm fine when I see him in the team sheet. He's gonna, keep things ticking. What did he have? 100% pass accuracy against Fulham. So I'm really impressed with him. And I think, it all comes from like we saw at the start of last season. We trusted him. We gave him those minutes. When it seemed difficult, when he had a bit of a shaky start, we built that confidence with him, and I think that speaks volumes to me. And I hope we can see it with a few more players in the future.
Yeah,
Trust.
definitely. I mean, you look at Kamara and you think, oh, he's vital to Villa, like how good he is. But we won a game, and majority of the time, Bogard played and Kamara was on the bench. So I think that's showing real progress, especially with Bogard, that whole trust thing. And I think we've touched on it again, like with Guesson and Elliott, Emery. Takes a lot for Emery to trust a player, I think that's what we're getting at, especially this season. So I think once he finally, I think it must be like, when you go to uni and they're like, right, you qualified, you get your thing and you get your outfit on, and you're like, he sort of gives you the seal of approval, doesn't he? And once you've got it, like, you're done. Like, so it's that Emery seal of approval that I think is important. So right, guys, cheers for watching, everyone. Smash the like button and comment your thoughts, and big up to Earl for coming on Up the Villa.